Hello friends, it's time for another Good to Know Monday tip. I've titled today's video tip, Go to the Movies to Program Your Destiny. Let me explain. Our references that we gather to form and support our beliefs do not have to be real experiences in order to become a belief of ours. They can be real or imaginary, accurate or inaccurate. Even our own personal experiences, as real as we think they are usually distorted by our own personal perspective, bias, and prejudice. It's interesting, but because we humans are capable of such distortion and invention, the reference legs I talked about in last week's Good to Know Monday tip that we use to support our beliefs are virtually limitless. The challenge with all of this is the fact that when we accept them as being real, we no longer question them. And so they become part of our story. We each have an old story consisting of all these reference legs. This is very powerful. It can even lead to very negative consequences or very positive consequences, depending upon what beliefs we choose to own. We each have the ability to use our imagined references to propel us towards our destiny. And too often, those beliefs are negative, and thus our destiny can be strewn with disaster. But when we imagine something vividly enough as though it was an actual experience, and it's a positive experience, a life-motivating experience, which I call reference, we can bring about that imagined reality into the world of the physical. Like I said, our brain simply cannot tell the difference between something we vividly imagine and something we've actually experienced. With enough emotional intensity and repetition, we can direct our nervous system to experience something as though it's real, even if it didn't even occur in reality. In other words, we direct or create references where no references exist, and thereby are able to achieve what to some people call the impossible. These principles lead to the law of true faith, which says, true faith is putting oneself on the line with no references to back up one's belief. The ability to create a sense of certainty when there isn't any references to justify it is what some say is called real genius. By putting oneself on the line in this way, you will set in motion a series of events that brings, or should I say, attracts the impossible into the portal of our mind, and then with our own action, it manifests itself into the world of the physical. It's so powerful. Over the past several days and into this week going forward, the Olympic trials have been going on for swimming. These incredible and mostly young athletes have been practicing this principle of going to the movies for many, many years. In fact, the story of the 4-minute mile is a perfect example of this law in action. For hundreds of years, people held the belief that it was impossible for a human being to run the mile in less than 4 minutes. But in 1954, the year I was born, Roger Bannister broke this impossible belief barrier. He got himself to achieve the impossible, not merely by physical practice, but by constantly rehearsing the event in his mind, or by what I describe as instant pre-play, where you pre-play it over and over and over again in your mind. I call it going to the movies. And that's what Roger Bannister did over and over again. By going to the movies in this way, Roger broke through the 4-minute barrier in his mind first, and he then believed he could do it physically. He accomplished it first in his mind over and over again, and he did it with so much emotional intensity that he created vivid reference legs to support his belief table, which then allowed him to believe he could do it physically. His belief became an unquestioned command to his nervous mental system, so that it propelled his physical machine, his body, to perform that act, and it resulted in achieving the impossible. Joseph Conrad, the Polish-British writer, regarded as one of the greatest novelists to write in the English language, once said, "Only in men's imagination does every truth find an effective and undeniable existence." Imagination, not invention, is the supreme master of art and of life. End quote. The beauty of this law of the true faith is confirmed by Mr. Bannister, was what this what I call a breakthrough did for other people is what was so exciting. In the whole history of the human race, no one had ever been able to break a 4-minute mile, yet within 1 year, after Roger's breaking this mental and physical barrier, 37 other runners also broke it. His belief and resulting action provided them with the imagined references strong enough to create a sense of certainty that they too could do the impossible. And a year after that first year, 300 additional runners did the impossible too. Man, oh man, I hope this story inspires you like it does me. It tells me, as it should tell you, that you can do anything you imagine you can. You can even start, build, and launch a business successfully. Period. Now, before I let you go, let me take just a moment once again and invite those of you who haven't yet taken advantage of my offer to be my guest on a private coaching call with me on my nickel. Go ahead and take me up on it. Make the decision right now to let me coach you for free for a full hour session. You'll be glad you did. I love coaching beginner entrepreneurs just like you on how to start and launch a business successfully. And I'd be extremely honored to spend some time with you coaching you on your personal questions, your goals and dreams. In the Good to Know Monday tip email I sent you with this video tip link, I included a link that says free coaching call with Coach B. Go ahead and click on it and set up your free private coaching call with me now. Do it. It will help you take the next steps to go on to the next level of your dream. I promise I won't pressure you to become a member of my beginner entrepreneur community at the end of the call. That's not my style. In fact, I bet you'll come away saying to yourself, man, that was great. I really enjoyed that. Okay, I'm done with the invitation. And so until next Monday, when I'll send out my next Good to Know Monday tip, I want to wish all of you continued success. Goodbye.